Hello, welcome to the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kailoko. We're coming to you live from the streets of Accra, where the Citizen Coalition is currently protesting against the Auditor General's failure to surcharge persons who were found to be guilty of irregularities in its report. It's a rainy day here in the capital city of Accra. I can see Mr. Ampal here. I'm going to pick his thoughts about what is happening. A rainy day, you guys have defied the weather and you're here. Why are you protesting?
Well, we are protesting to ensure that there's accountability in governance. That is all. The Auditor General has a duty, a constitutional duty, to surcharge persons who misapply public funds, whether stealing it or misapplying it. When they disallow it, he has to take the next step of surcharging them so that the monies are recovered, retrieved into the coffers of government. We all know that today, government has a huge crisis of revenue. Now, if you have billions of Ghana cedis that people have misapplied or stolen, and the Auditor General has refused to take action to recover those monies, what do we mean by that? Why would we be going to the IMF? When within Ghana, if things are done properly, if we ensure that there's accountability and transparency, we will be able to raise enough revenue to meet public expenditure. So our simple message here is to set out to the public and to all public officials that will come after them. Those public officials that act with impunity, misuse or steal public funds, will come after each and every one of them.
You think this protest will yield any results? We've had cases where people have gone to court over this. The Auditor General itself knows the rules of the game, that it's supposed to surcharge the people, yet it is finding it difficult to do because of one reason or the other. Will this make any impact at all, you think?
The Auditor General may be finding it difficult to take action on it because it's under some pressure. So you need a countervailing public pressure to compel him to do the right thing. You see, it's important for people to understand that in the long run, people in public office only respond to mass action and mass protest. And this is only the beginning. We will be meeting the Auditor General on Friday to have a discussion with him about how he intends to carry out his constitutional duty of surcharging persons who have misapplied public funds. And after that meeting, we'll know the next steps to take.
Okay, so I know you have a lot of plans lined up to take to force the Auditor General to do his job. But apart from the demonstration and of course meeting with the Auditor General, what else do you have in mind to force it to do its work?
I think that the demonstration is not a part. It is the key means of compelling people in public office to do the right thing. So we'll continue to demonstrate if necessary. It may be necessary in the long run to cite him for contempt of court, because the Supreme Court has given a very clear decision as to his constitutional obligations. So his failure to comply with it is indeed contempt of court. What we are doing now is to serve him with notice so that when it becomes necessary to go to court, he cannot claim that he was unaware.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kotrampal. Mr. Kotrampal is one of the known legal persons here in Ghana, speaking to us about the protests we are seeing now. I'm coming to speak to another gentleman to pick his thoughts.
The 17 billion, as outstanding as that is only the amount that concerns public state enterprises, the boards of state enterprises. So if you look at the total amount of public money that are being lost, it's even more than that. So we are saying that he should comply with his constitutional mandate and retrieve the monies on our behalf. It is irresponsible, it is unacceptable for him to continue to just allow people to take this staggering amount of money and just go scot-free without any form of accountability.
But over the years, we've seen the Auditor General struggling to surcharge people. I mean, you have decided to mount pressure to force the Auditor General to now surcharge people. From what you've seen so far, what do you think is stopping the Auditor General from doing his work completely?
There is nothing preventing the Auditor General from doing his work. His predecessor, Daniel Domelovo, surcharged, who was in office for a shorter period, surcharged over 100 people. He has been in office for longer. He's surcharged only one person. So there's absolutely nothing stopping him. It's a leadership failure. It's abdication of responsibility, and we are calling on him to fulfill. The Constitution gives you the power to do something. Who can stop you?
How far would you guys go to get him to do his work properly in your work?
Well, we are citizens, and the same Constitution gives us different tools and rights that we will explore. So a lot of people will say go to court. That's also a permanent option, but as citizens, we have to assess which strategy or tactic is most effective. Today, we are choosing to protest. Tomorrow, it may not be court, it will be something else, but the Constitution gives
Something else like what? Give us an idea.
The Constitution gives us so many options, like to call for people's removal from office, to remove people from office, to impeach people. And he also has, the Auditor General also has people that who are supposed to hold him accountable. And if they also fail to do their work, they could also be held accountable. So we have many options. That's why I love the Constitution. It gives us many options as citizens, and we'll explore every single one of them to get this done.
We're thinking that during the protest today, one of the places you pass through is the Auditor General's office itself, because earlier we were told you'll be picketing there as well. What changed?
Well, we got there and there were armed police. That's right. The plan was to go by the Auditor General's office to present the petition, but we got to the junction and there were armed police blocking the access to the office. Obviously, we saw it as an attempt to provoke, which will eventually distract from the main issue why we are here. So in the interest of focusing public attention on the issue of the looting and the need for the Auditor General to surcharge the looters, we decided to just ignore the police provocation and go to an alternative venue, which is the Independence Square.
Okay. So the police were there, they didn't allow you in, or you just didn't like the sight of what you saw?
Obviously, they saw us coming and they armed themselves and blocked the access. So the only way we can get through is to push them, and we chose not to do that. All right, I don't think they have a right to block us, but we chose as citizens, we chose to go to a different venue.
Thank you very much. We wish you well. We hope the reasons for which you are embarking on this protest gets done. But thank you very much for your time. It's still the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kai Loco, still reporting from the streets of Accra. In a few minutes, the protesters here will get to the Independence Square, which will be their final point of call for this protest. And it's just a few minutes to the Independence Square, where, of course, there'll be a series of addresses by the protesters here, the Citizens Coalition, who are protesting today to force the Auditor General to surcharge persons who have one way or the other gotten themselves involved in irregularities leading to the country losing millions of cedis.
The Constitution is very clear. The Supreme Court has made it very clear.
And you are blocking her.
And we are not doing it. So today we are here. We have a petition that we want to give to the representatives of the Auditor General, and we are expecting that they will tell us something good so that all what we are demanding, we can begin to work on it. So the petition is in this envelope. We had an attachment which is in an Excel. We have taken time to even extract some of the potential cases of surcharge, which we want to work on. So we will send that by email. These days we are doing technology, so we shouldn't have any problem with that. But now we want to hear from them. Because we have been at least corresponding for a little while, what do they have for us? So that we can be reassured that as citizens, we can protect our city. In these IMF days, we should not leave one city behind.
I acknowledge receipt of this petition on behalf of the Auditor General and the Audit Service. You know, I want to thank you for coming and the peaceful manner in which you have exhibited this demonstration. we want to assure you that we as Ghana Audit Service acknowledge and in fact agree to all what you are doing. We have a common goal that we need to fight to make sure that every city is accounted for. Exactly. That is why we have actually exposed and publicized our reports. We have agreed with management for another meeting somewhere on Friday where we'll sit down and agree on the way forward. So on behalf of the Auditor General and on behalf of every Ghanaian, I want to thank you for drawing our attention to this and to assure you that all the concerns that you have raised will be addressed.
So that's members of the Citizen Coalition presenting their petition to the Auditor General's rep here, and they are supposed to meet on Friday to have further discussions and take a decision on the way forward. So you saw Kojo Asante on behalf of the coalition doing the presentation of the petition to the rep from the Auditor General's department. So from here at the Independence Square, matters have come to an end here, and of course the coalition have ended their walk from the A4 Sutherland Park here to the Independence Square here. We'll bring you some more stories.